CBS News correspondent Errol Barnett is at the White House. Errol, CBS News confirmed that the president's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, used his Trump Organization email to arrange a payment to Stormy Daniels. She has alleged that this was hush money to keep her from talking about this affair with the president. How's the White House responding to this?
Well, what's interesting, Rena, is that after initially denying that President Trump even had this affair, after denying that he knew about this payment made by Michael Cohen to the pornographic actress, this week for the first time, Sarah Sanders acknowledged that essentially Michael Cohen won this restraining order in keeping Stormy Daniels from speaking out. Now, that would seem to confirm that perhaps Michael Cohen or the president were spooked by Stormy Daniels recently saying that she feels that the initial hush money agreement was voided because Michael Cohen publicly said that he paid her out of his own pocket. Now, morality aside, that very fact could raise a lot of accusations, as it already has, of misuse of campaign funds. Those campaign funding laws prohibit any candidate or staff member for using campaign funds for personal purposes. So while the White House has done its best to avoid even commenting on this topic, it appears that this past week they've stepped right in it.
Yeah, they certainly have, Errol. You know, the president, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be stumping for Republican Rick Saccone tonight, who's fending off Democrat Conor Lamb. This is Pennsylvania's 18th district. How important is this race for the president?
It's very important for President Trump, and that's why you're seeing him really be deployed on this rescue mission tonight. This 18th district is something Trump carried in the presidential election by 20 points, and the White House wants President Trump to be able to go to what is really Trump country, you know, a rural district in this swing state, and say, hey, our policies are paying off. Tax reform, deregulation, and those types of things. The issue, though, is that many Republicans have been critical of Saccone because they've said he's just not a very good candidate. He hasn't been raising enough money. He hasn't been campaigning aggressively. And Conor Lamb in this past week or so has been gaining in the polls and tightening the race. And so President Trump wants to come in and save the day in essence, but it's unclear if that will be enough.
We also know Western Pennsylvania is steel country. The president announces tariffs on steel and aluminum this week. It's trying to help these steel workers. Do you think that there's a way to gauge whether this will give him a boost with these steel workers?
It's a very good question. Well, it's unclear because after President Trump made this tariff announcement, which would, of course, benefit many people in this rural, post-industrial type of area, both candidates, Republican and Democrat, voiced support for President Trump's move. And so, in a way, by both of them getting behind this tariff announcement, the benefit is almost canceled out. But the White House, again, just being very hopeful that this tariff announcement and sending President Trump in to put all of his support behind the Republican candidate will be just enough to move the needle in Republicans' favor.
Lastly, Errol, we've learned that the president will attend this Summit of the Americas. It'll be in Peru next month. What do you know about this trip?
That's right. That was announced today. This will be President Trump's very first visit to Latin America. He will head down to Peru for the Summit of the Americas and then head on to Colombia, meeting the presidents of both nations. The White House says that the focus will be fair and reciprocal trade agreements, so you can expect many of these Latin American countries to vouch for the exemptions to President Trump's tariff announcement that are very appealing to many countries. And the president said he was also, or the White House says the president will focus on improving security and prosperity. So all of that to look forward to at the end of April.
Errol Barnett, thank you, Errol.
You got it.